Today, we're talking about something really powerful, how you can literally rewire your brain. We're going to dive into the science of how to break those negative cycles we all get stuck in and build a much more resilient mind. So, let's get into it.
Does this feel familiar? You know, that feeling of being completely trapped in the same old thought patterns, the same behaviors, no matter what you do to try and change? Well, you are definitely not alone. And there's a real scientific reason this happens.
You see, that feeling of being stuck, it isn't just a feeling. It's an actual neurological process. It's something called a negative feedback loop, which is basically a cycle that our brain learns and then just runs on autopilot. Let's break down exactly how that works.
Okay, so it all starts with something called a negative core belief. This is a really deep-seated, often subconscious belief we have about ourselves or about the world. It might sound like, I am unworthy of love, or maybe it's, I can't control my impulses. These beliefs are incredibly powerful, and they basically act as the engine for the entire cycle. So this core belief, it fuels a three-step vicious cycle. It all starts with a trigger, right? Something happens that activates that belief. That leads to a response, usually some negative emotions and behaviors, and then the outcome of that response serves as reinforcement, which just proves the original belief right and makes that loop even stronger next time.
And we see this play out in real life all the time. Take relationship insecurity. A trigger, like feeling unlovable, might cause you to withdraw from your partner. Well, that might actually cause the relationship to fail, which then reinforces that original belief. Same thing with addiction. The belief, I need this to cope, can trigger a relapse, and when your health declines, it just seems to confirm that feeling of being out of control. It's a really powerful, self-perpetuating system.
But here's the most important part of this entire explainer, and I really mean this. That cycle is not permanent. Your brain has this incredible built-in superpower that allows you to break free. So let's talk about what that is. That superpower is called neuroplasticity. It's your brain's amazing ability to literally reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. And get this, it's not something that just happens when you're a kid. It happens throughout your entire life based on your experiences, which means change is always possible. I love this analogy. Think of your brain's pathways like trails in a forest. Those negative cycles are like these wide, well-worn paths that are super easy to follow without even thinking. Neuroplasticity is your ability to get in there and start blazing new, healthier trails. Yeah, it's tough at first, but the more you use that new path, the easier and more natural it becomes.
So the big question is, how do we actually do that? How do we physically start building these new pathways in our brain? Well, the answer lies with a very, very important molecule. Meet BDNF. That stands for Brain-Derived Neurotrophic Factor. It's a crucial protein that basically acts as the catalyst for neuroplasticity. It helps your neurons grow, survive, and just function better. Without it, blazing those new trails would be pretty much impossible.
To put it really simply, just think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain cells, right? If you want to grow a new garden, you add fertilizer to make the soil rich and ready for new life. BDNF does that exact same thing for your brain when you want to build new connections. Okay, so we get the problem, and we get the biological key to the solution. Now for the good stuff. Let's get practical. What are the actual tools we can use to boost our BDNF and start rewiring our brains?
Here are 4 really powerful practices. Gratitude. It actually elevates BDNF and dopamine. Physical exercise is a huge BDNF booster and improves blood flow. Learning a new skill. This literally grows gray matter in your brain. And mindfulness. This helps interrupt those old negative loops by calming down the brain's fear center, the amygdala.
Let's just zoom in on gratitude for a second because it is so powerful. This isn't just some nice feeling. It physically changes your brain. It boosts dopamine, which feels good. It activates your prefrontal cortex for better decisions. It calms your fear center, and it directly strengthens new, positive neural pathways. It's a powerhouse.
Here is a super practical mindfulness tool you can use, like right now, the 4-7-8 breathing method. It's simple. You just inhale for 4 counts, hold your breath for 7, and then exhale for 8. This little practice activates your body's rest and digest system, and it interrupts the stress response in real time. It's a direct way to step off that old negative path. Now, we should also talk about a more intensive tool that's getting a ton of attention in research: psychedelic-induced plasticity. Certain substances can open up what's called a plasticity window, which allows for really rapid rewiring. They do this by boosting BDNF and shaking up those rigid beliefs. But, and this is absolutely critical, this should only ever be explored legally and with professional guidance.
So the main theory for how this works is called the Rebus model. It stands for relaxed beliefs under psychedelics. Think of your brain before as being dominated by these rigid, entrenched pathways. During the experience, those rigid beliefs get relaxed, which allows the brain to become more flexible and form new connections. And this can create a whole new perspective after.
Now, this plasticity window doesn't last forever, and its duration can vary. Research suggests that for psilocybin, this enhanced plasticity can last up to a month. For something like ketamine, it's closer to a week. This window is a really important period for integrating new insights and building new habits.
But whether you're using daily practices or exploring more intensive methods, none of it, and I mean none of it, matters without one final crucial element. This is how you turn a single effort into a lasting change, and how you flip a vicious cycle into a virtuous one.
And that crucial element is just consistency. It's that simple. Think about it. Repetition is what built those old, negative pathways in the first place. So it's repetition that will strengthen the new, positive ones. Every single time you practice gratitude or go for that walk, you are widening that new trail in the forest of your mind.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. This isn't about just managing symptoms or finding a temporary fix. By consistently applying these tools, you are literally in the process of building a new brain structure, a brain that's more resilient, more positive, and way less likely to fall back into those old rots.
And please, never forget this. Neuroplasticity is a lifelong process. It doesn't just go away when you grow up. You always have access to this incredible ability to change.
So, let's sum it all up. Here are your key takeaways. 1. Those negative patterns are learned loops. They're not who you are. 2. Your brain can always change thanks to neuroplasticity. 3. Simple daily practices are incredibly powerful tools to start that change. And finally, number 4, consistency is the magic ingredient that makes it all stick.
So this leaves us with one final, really empowering question. Knowing that you have the tools and that you have the innate ability to blaze new trails in your own mind, what new path will you choose to build?